Hey, this is Weed. Another video about the 5-paragraph written essay Physical Literacy edition for PHED 1164. As you can see the screen, this is not your class. I repeat, this is not your class, but this is an informative video about how to write the 5-paragraph written essay. So if you click on content, regardless of your syllabus on steroids quiz, you will have access to this. As you scroll down right here, you can see the 5-paragraph written essay, and you click on that. And here is where you will find the video. This is the old video, but I've updated it, so now there is a new video, and you will be able to see this information right here. If you click on this document, you will see directions about what needs to be in the paper, and it's a 5-paragraph written essay. So you can see there's an overview talking about nutrition, physical literacy, exercise, physical activity, and hereditary factors. At no point you do not need to define any of these terms. I teach this information. I do not need a definition. This document is based on the information that you have collected throughout the semester. So I think this is one of the most important assignments of the semester or the academic period, because you have collected data through various assignments and activities, or you will collect that data, and then you're going to evaluate it and determine where you are in your health and wellness and lifestyle choices. So first paragraph, cover all three of those terms. Second paragraph, you're going to look at the nutritional choices you made based on your chronometer homework, which was 3 days, 2 regular weekdays, and a weekend day, and look at this based on the information right here, which will be more explicitly described. There are 7 topics. The BMR is the Chapter 9 homework. So if you don't do the chronometer and you don't do the Chapter 9 homework, if you do the paper, you're going to get a 0 on this part because you just made this stuff up. For the third paragraph, that comes from your fitness and movement testing, the pre-assessment, and you can look and see what you need to cover here. There are 6 topics. For the fourth paragraph, which is the third topic, that's hereditary predispositions, there are 6 topics. And then the fifth paragraph is an overview, summary, again covering those different terms. For hypokinetic disease risk, this is potential. You are not an epidemiologist. You are not talking to your parents and grandparents and saying, yes, this is a genetic predisposition. That's not what you are trying to do. The only way that it might be genetic is if your grandparents and your parents, they have an excellent diet, they are physically active, they avoid tobacco use, they avoid excessive alcohol, and then they have that. Then that might indicate that it's genetic. But if they have a lousy diet, they do not exercise, they don't manage their stress well, they smoke like a chimney, they drink alcohol like a fish, then you can't say, yeah, that's genetic. That could be lifestyle related. So here is a list of some of those hypokinetic disease that you want to check out. Okay, going back here. This is the grading rubric, so we're going to be talking about this extensively. And here are some other ones. Here's a list. Here's chronometer day sample that you need to go to Module 3 for Chapter 8 right here to find out about the chronometer and how to do that. And then here are some examples. Notice this is not perfect. In this example, the person uses definitions. I don't need definitions. And this is not a good example. So going back here to the rubric, notice you must click on this document for the drop box to appear. Do not be like the students. I have at least one every academic session who emails me the day after it was due saying, I can't find the drop box. And then I go in and I can check and see whether or not you click that topic and then you didn't, I'm like, well, obviously you can't read. So this is what we're looking for. Here is the rubric that is very similar to what I'm going to use to grade your paper. So notice there's an introductory paragraph for paragraph 1. If you write misinformation, and I'll explain one of those points where a lot of students make misinformation, you can lose up to 5 points from that. So just write what is correct. So this is a thorough initial overview of the 3 wellness areas, which are nutrition, physical literacy, physical activity, exercise, and heredity. Notice correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling. You have spell check on most Word documents. You also have access to Grammarly. You can sign up and it will even look at your, it's very extensive. I use it religiously in my doctoral studies. So you can get a lot of information out of that, and you can also choose what the topic is, whether you want to describe or analyze, whether it is for academic purposes, etc. And remember, this is about you. This is not about some hypothetical person. Please do not write, people should eat healthy. I realize that, but you're writing about you. So for the first topic right here, this is nutrition. You get 7 topics, 3 points, up to 25. Here there are 6 times 4, and 4 points for correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Third topic, heredity. 4 times 6, 4 points for 6 different topics, and collect that. And then 4 points for the grammar, punctuation, and spelling, and then the closing right here up to 10 points. And that is out of 101 points. So the details. So for paragraph 2, nutrition, this is from chronometer, except for this, chapter 9 homework. You're going to record what your basal metabolic rate is based on your information. And in chapter 9, you'll learn that basal metabolic rate is one of 3 different areas of your metabolism. So if you're over-consuming above your BMR, that's normal. Your BMR is the amount of energy you need hypothetically just to stay alive. So we're going to look at your carbohydrate consumption over those 3 days. Was it where you want it to be? Is it above, below, etc.? Protein consumption, same topic in terms of how do you respond. Maybe the recommendation is 45 grams and you're looking to quadruple that. I don't know what your goals are, so you record based on what the goals are and what you find out. Fat consumption. Notice this is the one of the 25 points that people miss if you do not compare your saturated versus unsaturated fat consumption. On chronometer, they do not give a specific value of how much saturated versus unsaturated fat you should have, but I just want you to look at that over those 3 days. Then for the vitamins, you want to look at A, B, C, D, E, and K. And over those 3 days, some of you might find out that you do not consume 1 or 2 of those vitamins at all because you eat all processed food. You don't eat any fresh fruits or vegetables. Remember to cover all of those. What I do not want in your essay is for you to write on day 1, vitamin A was 120% of the recommended daily allowance. Day 2, it was 34% of the recommended. I'm not concerned about that. I want you to say whether or not you're getting that and whether it's an acceptable rate for you or not. And then for calcium, potassium, and sodium, remember, calcium, potassium is low and sodium is high. That's not a good thing because sodium might be harmful at excessive amounts. Most of you, if you're the typical college student, which I don't know whether or not that you are, most college students overconsume sodium. Most Americans overconsume sodium because we eat processed food and they dump a lot of sugar in there. So be aware of that. If you are missing any of these vitamins or any of these minerals, then that's going to be problematic. Yes, calcium is important, and for a variety of reasons. Women especially, because you're at a higher risk for osteoporosis. So that is paragraph 2. Notice there is nothing there about fiber. Going back here, some of you on this paragraph, you're going to look at Wikipedia and it's going to say, or whatever source you have, there are 7 nutrients. For our textbook, for our topic, there are 6 topics. And we're going to add this, the BMR. So if you say fiber is one of the nutrients, you're going to lose a point for that. In our view, based on the textbook, fiber falls under carbohydrate consumption. You will find that on the food label right there, under carbohydrates. Okay, so for paragraph 3, based on your fitness, movement testing, and training. So that is your FTR, right there, fitness testing results. So looking at all of those different items that we did, whether that is skipping backwards or your blood pressure or your grip dynamometer or your hip hinge, any of those different topics, what was your highest or best rating? For some of you, all of your fitness testing ratings are going to be amazing, outstanding, wunderbar, and you have to pick one of those. Next one, which fitness testing result needs the most improvement? So for some of you, all of your tests might not be very high. So you're going to have to choose the worst of the best or the worst of the worst. And then for number 1, you have to choose the best of the worst or the best of the best. Whichever way that is, you decide. If you think that if there's a class of 25 students, I memorized each and every one of your fitness testing results, you're probably incorrect. Number 3, a lot of students miss this one. What is your expected lifetime physical activity or exercise? I am not going to call you up when the academic session is over. I am not going to call you in the future and ask you, are you still doing the aqua stripper pole like you said on the 5-paragraph written essay? What? No, you failed the class because your grade has already been determined at that point. So it changed. As I will tell you in class, or I've told you in class, I used to be a track and field athlete. I used to be a track and field coach. I used to run. I don't find running enjoyable anymore, so I don't use running as a form of exercise. I lift weights. I grip it and rip it. And who knows in another 20 years what I'll be doing. Maybe I'll be playing bocce ball. I don't know. For number 4, what required exercise, physical activity in class have you experienced the greatest progression? So for some of you, your hip hinge is going to improve significantly. For some of you, you came in day 1, you could not skip backwards, and now you can. Whatever that is, that's what you're going to record. Don't write, I didn't make any improvements, because I know that you will have improved something because you haven't been doing that before. You've never done a loaded carry before you entered this class. Number 5, how has your physical literacy changed since the start of class? We will define what physical literacy is at the start of the class. As a reminder, physical literacy is having the motor competence, that's the physical ability, the confidence, the motivation, and the knowledge and understanding to maintain a lifetime of physical activity. So whether or not you have a high level of, or you have progressed physical literacy, will determine whether or not you continue to be physically active for the rest of your life. And then finally, number 6, how can you increase the number of steps that you take daily? So that could be walking up the steps, that could be taking your dog for a walk, that could be taking swimming your fish for a walk in the fish bowl that you have. I don't know. Make it up. I'm not going to be calling you up. I'm not going to be lurking in the hallways, in the stairwells of Lone Star College University Park to see whether or not you're actually doing it. And then the heredity, which is paragraph 4, topic 3, you're going to have to talk to your parents and possibly grandparents. So what are any hypokinetic hereditary diseases that your parents may have? I'm not trying to delve into anything personal. So that's maternal 1 and paternal is 2. So maybe they are young and they're relatively unscathed by any type of hypokinetic. So you can see what the list is. If you have a family history of psychological issues, do not record that. Do not tell me that. If you have poor vision, bad hearing, you've got a bum knee, or your mother or father has it. I'm not concerned about that. I'm looking at hypokinetic disease. Please do not overshare. I beg you, I beseech you, do not overshare. Then you're going to find out about your grandparents, your mother's parents, and your father's parents. If you have, that because of the Great Thanksgiving blow-up of 2011, you don't talk to those people anymore, I don't need to know the details about that. Just say, I don't have access to that information. I know what both sides of my parents, what my grandparents died from. So my father's father died at the age of 56 from heart disease. My father's mother, my grandmother, she died at 80 years of age from cancer. My mom's father died at the age of 92. And then my mom's mother died at the age of 86. So I know all that. My father passed away in 2019 at the age of 82. So I have an idea of what's going on there. So the better you have information and access to information, the better choice you can make. Both my parents were cancer survivors. My mom survived breast cancer and my father survived prostate cancer. So I'm a likely cancer candidate. If you have any other close blood relatives that have a hypokinetic disease, you can add that. You do not have to. Again, I don't care about, I do care about because you're an important human being, but if your great uncle has a drinking problem and cirrhosis of the liver, that's terrible and tragic, but please don't add that. And then this is where people miss 2 points out of this, not 2 points, 2 data points. Does your current diet and exercise habits increase the risks of what you found out here, or does it decrease the risk of what you found out? And then finally, we're going to go to the closing paragraph right here. So that is how you write that. Check out the office hours, WebEx office hours. If you have any questions, look at the examples. Notice they're not perfect, but they give you some information. Once again, this is Weed, and I'm out.